Hello there, Vanagon addicts. It's Ken Wilford here at Vanagon. I am down in Belize at your favorite Vanagon workshop down here. And we are trying to get ready to rebuild an engine. Now, don't get too crazy excited about this because I brought all the parts down here to rebuild the engine, and I found some issues with the main bearings of the engine. So I'm gonna have to get different main bearings, but I wanted to talk to you guys about how do you know what main bearings that you need to use when you're rebuilding engines. So some people call me, they're like, hey, I want to rebuild my engine, I want to have all the parts ready to do it and just get it done. I'm like, I agree, buy all the parts from me and we'll try to make you happy. But the biggest problem you run into is, do you know if your engine's ever been rebuilt before? And if it has, does it have, has it been a line board or, board oversized? Sorry, I'm going to turn that off because it's kind of noisy. So that's the big question. You just don't know. If you have an engine that is a Volkswagen factory rebuild and that has a yellow tag on the top, that is most likely been a line board. They pretty much all board them, and there's a really boring story about that. I'm not going to bore you with, but the long and short of it is they are pretty much all a line board. Now this engine is a GEX rebuild. It doesn't have a lot of time on it. It's had a lot of issues and problems over the years, and we replaced it last year with my rebuilt engine I did. And then this year I had a goal of coming down and building this engine to replace it to have as a spare sitting here. But we ran into this problem with the crankshaft. So what is the problem with the crankshaft? Well, when I went to take the engine apart and you get in here, you see this. This is your bearing shell. This is like the rear main. And you see some weird stuff going on here. This says U, which is like the German word for undersize. It's the U with the dots over the top. 0.5, and then over here it has a U without the dots over the top. 0.50. Don't ask me why they had to put an extra 0 on the end of that, because it's essentially the same exact thing. So what does this mean? This means that the case itself, okay, so this outer diameter of this is bigger to allow for the case to have been a line board, okay, 0.5 millimeters. And also the crank itself has been turned down to allow for the crankshaft to be 50, which is your biggest amount you can possibly do, to be turned undersized, okay? So I'm gonna need the bearing shells that are for a line board case and also a 50 underturned crank. Now, right at this particular moment, I'm gonna have to see if they're available. If not, maybe I'll have to get a whole nother crankshaft. I'm not sure what's gonna happen that way. So, I brought down a set of standard by standard bearings here, which, again, I had no clue what was in here. I don't know if there's like oh yeah, all GEX engines are a line board. I don't think they are. And GEX, from what I'm seeing, they were kind of random in what they did. So possibly maybe this originally was a factory rebuilt engine that was also rebuilt by GEX, and now it's trying to get rebuilt by me. Rebuild number 3, third time's the charm. So we looked at that. Okay, that tells you some things. The other way you get information off of this is by using your mics. Okay, so I have a mic here. The one you want to use is a 2 to 3 inch range. Okay, what that does is it allows you to measure something. It's starting out at 2 inches and go into 3 inches. So all of these, journal things are over 2 inches. Okay, spoiler alert, they're over 2 inches. So how do you read this thing? Okay, So I will give you a short lesson on this. I can't remember if I've ever did this before. We talked about it maybe once a long time ago. Okay, but basically these things are just almost like little clamps, and you have this little wheel back here. You can loosen it, okay, and you just basically loosen it until it can go over this, right, and then you tighten it to where it's barely can go by it. Okay, so like I'm just doing this one-handed, completely wrong. You would normally not do this, okay, but you would want to get it so it would just barely be able to, see how it's going, chong, it's not supposed to do that. Get it just so it's like tight, and then you actually use this little clicky thing, that's a ratcheting thing, to, you know, get it to where it needs to be. All right, now this is not going to be a correct reading. It doesn't really matter for our purposes. I'm just showing you how to read this thing. So we're going to step out here. Let's see if I can get this camera to zoom in here and give us a good view of this. And it's totally refusing to do anything that I want it to do. All right, let me go over to this table and we will try it on there. So normally what you would do is you get it to where you want it. It totally will not zoom. You lock this, okay, so that keeps it from turning. Let me see if I can do a 2x. Okay. All right, and now you can see these numbers. All right, so the first thing you know is this is a 2 to 3. So the first number is going to be 2. That's 2 inches. Then you go point, okay, and then after that you see these numbers here, and we are at the number 1. So 2.1, okay, write that down. Then the next thing you see is these little hash marks. Each one is 25, okay, so you go, okay, I see 2, I see 50. Then this wheel is at 12. You see 10, 11, 12. So 50, right, plus 12, which is 62. Okay, so it would be 2, 1, 62. Okay, that is going to be your measurement. And again, you know, doing this on something, you basically want to kind of like do this one and try to get that one, make sure that's, you know, you can measure it over and over and over, maybe at least 3 or 4 times to try to get like a consistent reading with it, because using these takes practice. It's not just like, okay, bam, I'm doing this and I'm getting this first reading and it's super accurate and I'm done. No, it's a little bit of an art form, okay? See, you want to get it so it's tight, but it also can come by it at the same time, just barely. So like that's kind of where you want it to be. Like it's going on there, but it's kind of snug. And I'm gonna get a different reading now because I didn't actually have it at that the last time. All right, so now it's basically saying 2.1, right? 50 plus 15, which is 65. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? So it'll be 2.165. And if you say, all right, well, I got that on this rod journal here, right? Then you check the other ones. They should all be pretty much the same. And see, look, I can put it right on here. Boom, same. You can kind of use it as a go, no-go gauge. I mean, again, you may run into one that's gotten damaged and it's not the same size, but usually they're all pretty much the same size. This is a different size here. That's your rear main. This is a different size, your center. Here's your front main. And here's like the nose cone one. I'm not taking these off right now because, again, I don't have the correct bearings to put back. I have to like put this in plastic, put a bunch of grease and stuff on it to keep it from rusting, and decide what I'm doing in the future with it. It's going to be staying here in Belize most likely until the next time we come down. So that's just a real quick thing of evaluation. I mean, there's other things to evaluate on the crankshaft. You know, you can kind of see there's some score marks on this. There's some score marks on here. You know, again, some of this stuff will polish off. Maybe some of it is a little bit too much to polish off. Again, if it's got anything Usually you can feel it with your thumbnail if it's bad, which I don't feel anything that way. This is not supposed to be a video about a comprehensive crankshaft, inspection video. This is just supposed to be like giving you an idea of how to evaluate. Okay, so now I know I have this size bearing because of these markings on the back of this bearing, and also the readings you're going to get when you mic it. And now you can try to call me and see if we can get you the correct size bearings, or make a decision on, I'm going to try to find a brand new crankshaft, which I've seen them out there, or a good used one. So I guess that's it for this video about, crankshaft bearing inspection, measurement. Again, this is not comprehensive. There's, you can look in here and see wear things in here, but I never reuse these bearings anyway, so I don't really care what they look like inside. I mean, I think it's stupid to spend all this time and money to rip into one and then reuse old bearings, but I bet you money that GEX did it when they built this. So I guess that's it for now, guys. Please like, share, subscribe. Let me know if you want any more videos like this. I'll try to do some more. And I hope you guys are having a great day. We will see you on the next video.